I wonder what ridiculous stat Morgan Garber has for us today. Welcome, everybody. You are listening to 2Blue and OSU, the ultimate sports podcast for your entertainment. I am joined by Morgan. Morgan, what's up, man?
Not a lot, man. Had a pretty crappy weekend. My favorite teams went 0-3 this weekend. Dayton Flyers lost to Rhode Island. Our Arsenal Gunners lost today. And Cleveland just got blown out by Washington. So
They got blown out.
Pretty crappy sports weekend.
Arsenal got beat by under 21 Manchester United squad. That's awesome.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
On the phone, I got Doug. Doug, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on? Not much. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I learned something new about you today, Doug. I learned that 20 minutes for you means an hour, and almost means 20 minutes. That's what I learned today.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
I had some scheduling errors.
And we have a special guest today who's going to be talking with us about competitive cheerleading, Lana Broman. That's the same last name, right?
That's exactly right, yes.
Lana, how you doing today? Thank you for joining us.
Good, how are you guys?
I'm good. These two are not good, apparently.
Well, Doug's not on Navy time anymore since he left, so he doesn't know how to do that anymore.
If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late, Doug, and you were an hour late, so.
Well, that technically makes you late if you're on time.
Well, I was early. I'm always ready to go. I have nothing else going on.
I'm ready to go.
Hey, I have.
You guys made me do this first.
Oh
I have-
gosh.
I have two kids and 9 dogs, so I don't want to hear any excuses.
All right, we got a great show for you guys today. We're going to talk about the NFL Combine, some snubs and surprise lists, and why it's a waste of time, in my opinion. We have a fan segment that we put out. We're going to get you guys' inputs on your greatest sports moments or your most inspirational sports moments. We have quite a few, and then I know Morgan and I have a couple. Doug, do you have any?
Sure, I can come up with a couple.
Okay, all right. Lana, do you have any?
Sure, I do.
Oh, all right, outstanding. See, she's ready to go, and Doug's not. Fail.
I'm sorry, I spent most of my time preparing for this cheerleading segment.
Oh, he is pumped up for the cheerleading segment. We're going to hop right into that right now. And originally I did not want to do this, not because of anything about cheerleading, because I thought all of us would agree that it is in fact a sport. So I didn't want us all having a debate about something that we all agree on. And then Doug chimes in saying, I don't think it's a sport. So I'm really curious how the guy who gave the sports definition last week in the e-game segment is going to defend himself. But I'm not going to start with him. I want Lana to just pimp slap him with her argument right now. Lana, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your background with cheer and tell us why it's a sport.
Well, I was a cheerleader from like middle school on through my junior year of high school. I decided not to cheer my senior year just strictly on the basis of the fact that I wanted an easy, kosher senior year and decided to skip the whole cheer aspect there and sat the sidelines. But since I graduated, I went to college and coached while I was in college for a few years. Took a hiatus for a couple years, and then when I moved back to Jackson, went back and coached at my alma mater I'm going on my 10th year coaching now. Sideline I coach as well, which is the girls sitting on the sideline cheering on the football team, but heart and soul resides in the coaching of competitive cheerleading. I will be the first one to admit as a cheerleading coach that I do not agree that sideline cheerleading is a sport, but I wholeheartedly 100% believe that competitive cheerleading is a sport, hence competitive cheerleading. Other than that, I think that like I said, I listened to your podcast last week. I don't understand, like you said, Doug gave the complete definition of what a sport is. So I actually kind of want to hear what his argument is on it first. Like, come on, you gave the definition. Tell me why you don't think it is.
Nobody wants to hear his argument. He's going to set all of us back about 45 years right now. Go ahead, Doug. Why don't you let us have it?
No, I want to hear her side first. That's what you said.
She said it. It's competitive cheer.
And I did say, too, the fact that I don't agree that sideline cheerleading for football or basketball is a sport.
I want to hear her argument for why it is a sport first, and then I will basically just destroy that argument and give the real reason it's not.
I'm watching Morgan and everybody both like throw their hands up in the air because you're a bunch of full of shit because you have no idea what to say because I'm not even giving you an argument yet. You can't even come out with an argument to start with.
Okay, I will go ahead and start that. That's what
you need me to baby spoon feed you this information?
What's that?
You need me to spoon feed you the details of the sport before you can even give me an argument about it?
No, I will go ahead and give you my information right now.
By all means.
All right. So,
All right.
definition of a sport by the American Association of Cheerleading Coaches and Administrators. Recent position paper by the Women's Sports Foundation included the following elements of the most commonly agreed upon when defining a sport activity. Physical activity involves propelling a mass through space or overcoming the resistance of mass, contesting or competing against with an opponent. Governed by rules which explicitly define the time, space, and purpose of the contest and condition under which a winner is declared. Acknowledging primary purpose of the competition and a comparison of the relative skills of participants. That paper further explains that any physical activity in which relative performance can be judged or quantified can be developed into a competitive sport as long as 1. The physical activity includes the above-defined elements, and 2. The primary purpose of competition versus other teams or individuals with a competition structure comparable to other athletics activities. Then it goes on to say cheerleading as a sport. Cheerleading in its current format does not meet the second criteria listed above. The primary purpose is not competition, but that of raising school unity through leading a crowd at athletic functions.
You're talking about sideline cheer.
Sideline cheerleading.
I'm talking about cheerleading in general.
We're talking about competitive cheer.
Talking about it in general. There's two different aspects.
Competitive cheerleading is still cheerleading. Competitive cheerleading is basically doing stuff in a auditorium or in a gym that you would be doing on the sidelines. I would like to also share, does everyone know who Rick Riley is?
Yes.
Okay, he used to write the last page of Sports Illustrated, and he had one on October 18th of 1999 called Fifth Boom Bob Humbug.
1999?
What's even dumber is that cheerleaders have no more impact on the game than the night janitorial staff. They don't even face the game, they face the crowd. While in their bizarre, puppy world, they cheer, they rob, they smile, they kiss, they hug. Meanwhile, Milford High just scored 3 touchdowns against their guys. The UFO could land on the 30-yard line, disgorging a chorus line of tiny purple ethyl mermans. Most cheerleaders would still be facing the other way, yelling, "We got fever." While no one would argue that cheerleaders practice, it can be argued that cheerleading, when it is simply yelling into crowds, does not require a great deal of skill. Anyone can learn routines and yell into a crowd as long as they smile a lot. The effort of competitive cheerleading is an activity in its own right. Cheerleading can arguably require competition. However, what if cheerleaders are just clapping and yelling at games? Perhaps the school doesn't compete. Many schools do, in fact, have cheerleading squads who do attend competitions. Those competitions are simply things that they would do on a sideline anyway. So, another thing...
I have to stop you. Stop. Because you're embarrassing yourself. Half of your arguments are all about sideline. Have you watched a physical competitive cheerleading meet?
Competitive cheerleading is just practice for going on the sideline.
Have you watched a competitive cheerleading meet?
Only to see some girl fight it. That's the only reason I've watched it.
Do you even know what it entails?
It entails a bunch of girls standing on the sideline, yelling.
No, we're not on the sideline. Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Competitive? Competitive involves a lot of girls pretending. A lot of girls pretending to be on the sideline, yelling and screaming and rah-rahing while the real activity is happening on the field.
No, because a competitive cheerleading meet has no other sport happening at the same time.
I know competitive doesn't. It's practice for going on the sideline, is what I'm saying.
No, you're wrong, because it's the other way around. I practice all during football season for what I do during competitive season.
Okay, and?
Okay, so what was your definition of sports was it must require physical activity, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm stunting. Check. I should be contesting against other teams, correct? Or team, correct?
Well, okay, how many people are stunting at the same time, though?
Every single one of my team members are stunting. Of my 16 girls that are stunting, every single one of them are stunting. They are either a base, a flyer, or a back spot at the same exact time, yes. Simultaneously. I'm judged on the fact that I have team unity and everything is being done at the same time, yes. Judged on that.
Okay, so back spot is
I'm not done.
Clapping.
I'm not done there. You gave me a whole definition. I have to contest against other teams, correct?
I wasn't done either.
He interrupts quite often.
Okay, so let me interrupt. Let me go back. I have to contest against other teams.
The governing body of cheerleaders says it's not a sport.
Do you know how many governing bodies of cheerleading there are? Did you even find that information?
I found the American Association of something cheerleading.
He found the one that fits his argument. That's the one he found.
Exactly. What about the UCA, Universal Cheerleading Association? What about MHSAA, Michigan High School Athletic Association? They're the governing body. They have a whole booklet of rules that I have to follow for my cheerleading competitive season. A booklet that is bigger than the football booklet of rules.
Does it ever say that it's a sport?
A football handbook that I coach doesn't have sport on it either, Doug. It
Thank you.
It says football.
Football is a sport.
Well, we all know that.
You can say that.
Well, I'm just saying, the booklets that we get for our rules and regulations don't have sport on it. It doesn't say football sport or the sport of football. So I don't even know why that's even in your argument.
My argument is that the governing body, the American Association of Cheerleading Coaches and Administrators, which you would probably be a part of because you're a coach, says...
No, never heard of that one because it's not the governing body of all of us.
Boom.
It says right in this definition that it is not a sport.
Okay, so what was your other reason? Contesting, correct? Let me get back to that one. Contesting, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I compete against, every single Saturday, I compete against 16 to 20 other teams. So I'm contesting against other teams, correct?
Yes, but it's still just cheering.
Okay,
There's
next
some
one.
stuff you're going to do on the sideline, which is not a sport.
It's not the same stuff I do on the sideline. Again, I have asked you, have you watched a competitive cheer meet?
We're gonna
I have not.
We're gonna have to post a video of competitive cheer on our
There's
Facebook
other
page
things to do.
for Doug. Doug's gonna have to watch one. I'm gonna post on a YouTube clip of competitive cheer on Facebook.
Isn't it on ESPN every now and then?
It was on this
Yeah.
morning actually.
National championship for high school, college. I also am supposed to be governed by rules that explicitly define time, space, and purpose of the contest. You know what? In my rules and regulations, it tells me every single team that I play against has to have a time limit. I have to have the same mat size every place I go. I have to have the same score sheets everywhere I go. Check, check, and check.
Rebuttal?
Cheerleading in its current format does not meet the second criteria. Primary purpose is not competition, but that of raising school unity through leading a crowd at athletic
Once
functions.
again, you're talking about sideline cheer. Our whole segment is competitive cheer.
It's all the same.
Okay, my wife called me
Not the same.
my wife called me a tool last week for calling you narrow-minded, but I'm gonna do it again because you're being very narrow-minded once again. Your whole
I'm not being narrow-minded.
you have tunnel vision on sideline cheer. That's all your total tunnel vision is on sideline cheer right now.
It's cheerleading in general. It is not a sport because it is all the same. Every single one of your, let's just call them athletes at this point because I don't know what else to call them. Every single one of your athletes is probably the same members of the cheerleading competitive side and sideline side.
Not every single one, no.
Basically, they're just practicing in a
No.
gym in front of people.
And a cheerleading coach
People-
just told you,
leading people in a cheer.
she just told you that she uses the sideline as practice for competitive. This is a coach telling you this.
When does competitive cheerleading start?
November.
November. Okay. So what do they do during the week at, like, basketball games?
I don't cheer basketball games. And neither
Yeah.
does because my girls do not have time to cheer at a basketball game because they're at practice from 3:30 after school until 5:30, 6 o'clock every single day. They don't have time to go to cheer
Right.
basketball game.
That used to be the only reason I would go watch basketball.
A lot of high school basketball teams have dance teams now instead of cheerleaders, Doug.
Well, I've been out of high school for 16 years, so
Ooh,
I miss that.
Also, too, okay, so let me explain competitive to Doug, because obviously he has no idea what it is, correct?
I know what competitive cheering is.
That's fair to say.
It's practice for the
100%.
regular
Stop your mouth. Shut your mouth and listen. Shut your mouth. Maybe you'll learn something today.
Yes.
Wow, he's quiet. Okay, so with competitive cheerleading, at least in Michigan, I'm not going to speak for any other state because other state has different rules. But for Michigan, I have to do 3 rounds. The first round is a strictly cheer, 100% cheer. But my cheer is different from the cheer that's the next team's going to do and the team after that. They're all going to be unique. The second round that I have to perform is 100% strictly tumbling. I have to do tumbling, I have to do back handsprings, I have to do splits, I have to do heel stretches. Do you even know what these terms are? Probably not, but we'll go on from there. In third round is 100% strictly stunting. My team is stunting the whole time that they are out on that floor for 2.5 minutes. And on top of it, they're also jumping, tumbling, and yelling words at the same time. If you don't know how to be athletic and be trained well enough to do those 3 things at the same time, cheerleading is not for you.
So basically you're saying that the second round, I will give you the second round that they're athletes and that it is a sport, but I call that sport gymnastics.
You can't pick and choose.
That sport's gymnastics during the second round is what I just heard.
So what is stunting?
Stunting, we'll call that organized gymnastics, but you still got people standing around doing nothing. Not everyone.
No, I don't. I do not have one girl standing around doing nothing. They are all lifting a person up in the air or throwing a person up in the air by themselves through strictly their own strength that they have trained for in the weight room and are having trainers in the weight room by themselves. Oh, I see someone has a point.
Yeah, we're just laughing at you, dude.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure Morgan, if he agrees with me that video games are not a sport, that he can see the point in this also.
I will say, this is the only thing I have to say about competitive cheerleading. I did an internship up at a local high school here, Fairmont, and we work with different athletes from different sports, like soccer and basketball, football, girls and boys basketball, and competitive cheerleading was one of the sports that we worked with. And I will say, those girls outworked any boy in that weight room, and it wasn't even close. They didn't top the girls basketball team because they worked their asses off, but the cheer team there came in ready to work. They didn't mess around. Did they complain? Yeah. That's, I guess, a stereotype that cheerleaders have. But they came in and they worked their ass off, and they went and they conditioned. They did the strength training. They did whatever Coach Swain, who was the strength and conditioning coach there, they did whatever he asked them to, and they came in and they worked their ass off. So I can't argue about competitive cheer not being a sport when I seen firsthand them go in there and work their ass off and outwork any male that walked in that weight room.
I can also tell you every single one of my girls can run an 8-minute mile.
An 8-minute mile? Every single one of your girls?
Yes, they do, because I make them run a mile before they start practice every single day.
I'm not going to say what I'm thinking because that would just be mean and wrong. So
I have seen these girls come in the weight room and flip tires. I've seen girls come in that weight room and flip tires bigger than what some of the boys on the football team could. So
well, they have to, when they have to throw a girl up in the air 50 feet.
I'm not saying they're not strong. I'm not saying that they don't have, any muscle. I'm not saying they're just a bunch of little wiry kids standing on the sideline. I'm saying that, or standing, on a mat in the middle of a gym. I'm saying that it's not a sport based on the definition that the founding governing body that I went through says.
You found a definition.
I don't believe for a minute that every single one of your girls can run an 8-minute mile.
I can guarantee it. Do you know why? Because I started back in the summer. I made them the summer. No, they couldn't run an 8-minute mile in the summer. But by the time I start competitive season, they have to be able to run an 8-minute mile because they have to use all of that energy to be able to be on the floor yelling words at the top of their lungs, stunting, and having a girl that is 50 feet up in the air above them and not letting her get hurt so that she's not hurt at the end of the season. And she's not paralyzed or she doesn't fall and hit her neck. I mean, just the element of danger that they have to protect the girls that are in the air, that they have to be able to be physically fit to be able to do their job correctly.
I spend my entire day protecting people. Does that mean what I do as a sport?
We've been over this many times. It's the full definition of sport. You guys yelled at me for full definition last week, right? Full definition.
And your definition of a sport is different from last week, by the way.
I actually have it verbatim.
No.
Yes?
My definition of a sport from the cheerleading association, whatever.
Just because they're a fake association.
Here's what he used last week verbatim against me and e-gaming. Sport, an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. That is verbatim what you said opening your argument against e-gaming.
Okay, so then sex is a sport because it's entertaining and it's...
You have to have competition. If you're competing, we did this last week. If you have competition in the bedroom, whatever, call it a sport. But most of us aren't competing for first.
In the bedroom. There's competition.
Hey, then that's a sport for you. Then yes, then in your mind, it's a sport. By all means, call it a sport. You're not breaking my heart calling it a sport. What are you?
Still,
We can debate sports again. Me and Zach, we went back and forth on WWE wrestling, and I said beer pong and flip cup are a sport. But let's try and stay on track here, Doug. Let's try and stay with the competitive cheer because I'm still waiting to hear your valid reasoning why it's not a sport. Because I've seen firsthand them girls go in that weight room, and I mean some of these girls up at Fairmont, which by the way, shout out Fairmont Firebirds. Some of the girls were dual sport athletes. So some of them did softball, basketball, whatever sport it was. So a lot of them did the dual sport. So how can you say
that's great?
Okay, but if you break down the definition that Zach gave us, and I told Zach that that I agree with what he said about video gaming being a sport. Now, in my mind, is it a sport? No, but it fits the definition. So how can sitting down playing a video game, fit the definition, but competitive cheer doesn't fit the definition? If you break down the definition that Zach gave you, it fits every aspect of the definitions.
That's not the definition I gave you guys. It's the definition Doug used himself
last week.
Well, I'm saying the one that you broke down and took the words out of this definition of sport, and once you break it down even more, it still fits. So
without a doubt, competitive cheer fits that definition to a T. Some would say even more so than e-gaming. I don't. Again, here's Doug in his box, walking around the edges, flipping everything off. That's he's got two middle fingers in the air.
I tried, for the record, I tried convincing Doug to come actually watch our district meet this past weekend, so he would actually have something to reference, and he said that it was not able to be in his schedule. I said, then how do you actually 100% validate your argument if you've never actually seen it?
Doug?
That is a bold-faced lie.
Did I not ask you to come watch districts that...
Not this weekend. That was like 2 weeks ago.
Last weekend. Not this weekend. Last weekend.
No.
Whatever. You see?
I was busy.
So you want to take this back to the 90s when we're all on the sideline cheering on the football team's varsity bluish, where the cheerleaders are in V-neck uniforms and their boobs are popping out. But that's what you want to use for your reference here for your argument, but yet you won't come see my athletes on a mat to actually do your proper research or a video of what they're doing for proper research for our argument here today, because you're too busy.
Because just dropping everything I have and going to see a bunch of little girls screaming at the top of their lungs is not a priority to me.
Not little when one of my bases can leg press about 210.
About how much?
210.
210. Wow.
Stop it, Doug.
That's impressive. That's
Stop
like
it, Doug.
1 bar and a couple of weights on the side.
Stop it, Doug.
Doug, what do you leg press?
Oh, here comes
What do I leg press?
He doesn't know what a leg
The last time I leg pressed, I filled the rack and had someone standing on it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the shit is deep today. The shit is deep.
Was it a midget that was standing on it? Because he probably didn't weigh very much.
You know what? It was actually Smoking Joe Williams, as a matter of fact. So.
Okay, I'm going to ask him Monday. How much did you play for Joe Williams? I heard.
Never stood.
How often were you on that football field, Doug?
I started both ways my senior year there, Princess.
We're getting personal shots now.
I know, right? Gee. We're going to get personal. The reason I don't think that her entire team can run 8-minute finals because I saw some pictures.
Oh.
That was scary.
Come on,
We're going to
man.
get personal.
Come on, man.
Hey, if we're going to get personal.
Doug in his box again, guys. This is nothing new to me.
So then why doesn't Doug go out there and time himself? Them girls want to run an 8-minute mile. And then it's settled if they can run an 8-minute mile or not.
Because I don't have to run my mile anymore. I got out of it 84 years ago.
I'm not saying you. You go out there for yourself and watch them run an 8-minute mile.
Yeah, why don't you go watch?
Why
don't you go watch competitive cheer competition? Why wouldn't you do that? Just to see, hey, this is a sport, this isn't a sport. You know?
Because he's too busy.
Because I already know it's not.
Broaden your horizons a little bit, dude.
He doesn't want to be wrong. He can't admit he's wrong.
I am not wrong.
Oh, in his mind, he's not. I mean, but the rest of us are looking at it
like he's freaking crazy.
he's backtracking faster than Richard Sherman from last week.
Well, no, I want you to share this podcast with your girls and have them write me letters.
No one wants to.
I would like to see the hate mail that I'm getting for this.
Except
it won't be a hate mail. They'll be laughing.
Season is over. And I don't start training again until June. So
they're not in season, though, is what she's saying. I'll break it down for you simply.
He has nothing.
He's got nothing.
No, I'm actually getting side conversations saying that I'm an ass.
Well, she's not wrong.
Yay!
Apparently, Lana's got a fan in my house right now, so.
I know that feeling. I got that last week.
Right. It sucks. It's a horrible feeling.
I was a tool and a douchebag last week, apparently, according to my wife.
Yeah, I was told that I'm an ass and that she likes Lana more than me. So.
Well,
yes, I would like it.
Everyone out there is agreeing with her right now.
Probably. Well, she's better looking than I am, so that happens.
All right, let's move on. I think we know who won that one.
Lana?
Can we give Lana the Mario sound?
I don't have my sound.
Still here?
Yeah.
Is she still on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lana,
Doug, it's about damn time.
But you wouldn't concede to me last week. This is bullshit and sexist.
No, because I can't. Because
nonsense.
she actually gave me a reason. I heat up my hot pocket and I've got carpal tunnel because
I hate you so much. I'm narrow-minded. Let's move on to the NFL Combine that went on this week. There were some interesting. We were going to talk about something different, and then we saw a major name that kind of blew our mind who wasn't invited to the Combine, and that was Keenan Reynolds.
Well, I have a question on that, though. I don't know how the contract works with that. Is he allowed to even enter?
Yes, they can buy out his contract.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Or well, what happens is you have to pay back the Navy for your 4 years. You don't have to get commissioned.
So all $30,000 for his 4 years he was in, he'd have to pay back with his NFL contract over a couple million.
I'm pretty sure the Naval Academy is a lot more than $30,000 a year.
Oh yeah, I was going off of our pay rate. I'm sorry.
Oh, our pay rate? No, it's the education, like tuition, pretty much, that you got for free.
Okay.
That's what he'll have to pay that back, but a first contract alone will get you that.
Yeah.
So
that's what. Anyway, continue, because I was unsure of that part, so I just wanted to clarify before you continue.
Keenan Reynolds, he rushed for over 4,500 yards in his career, 88 rushing touchdowns. He threw for 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, and only 8 picks. It's 119 touchdowns to 8 interceptions as a quarterback. But he's not even entering as a quarterback. He's entering as a running back, a kick returner, and a receiver. And a guy who, honestly, should have been invited at least to the Heisman ceremony. He got snubbed there, too. The stats that he has proves that he could be a legitimate player in the NFL. For him not to get an invite to a combine was absolutely absurd in my mind.
Well, he'll do his own, pro day, won't he?
Yeah, everybody gets a pro day, but the combine is a chance to separate yourself. A lot of these guys will get combines and pro days. So if you have a bad combine, you can make up for it at the pro day.
Is he even interested, though?
Yeah, he's pissed that he didn't get invited. Oh,
Okay,
excuse me.
well, no,
He's motivated.
My personal thing, and you can call me a dickhead if you want, but if I had the opportunity to stay in the Navy, I would have. And I just want to make sure that he's, if he really wants to continue forward in football and go in the NFL versus becoming an officer and butter bar and doing all that fun stuff.
They had a story out during the season that he wasn't offered any Division I scholarships besides the Naval Academy. So he chose the Navy so he could show that he could play big-time football.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good then.
So,
I think he's awesome. Personally, I think he's probably one of the best players I've ever seen. So,
Morgan, what do you think, man?
I absolutely agree. If you break down what Keenan Reynolds has done, all the records he's broken, the rushing records that he's broken, he has numerous records that he's broken in college football. For him not to even get an invite to the combine is a joke. Now, me and you talked off air about how the combine's kind of a joke, but for him not to even get an invite to this, when you got, a quarterback out of Liberty get an invite, but a quarterback at a Navy who led him to a bowl game and a bowl win not get an invite. It's kind of ridiculous.
A 4-year starter. A 4-year starter.
Yeah.
Lana, do you follow the combine at all?
I honestly, when Doug told me the topic that you guys were discussing was the combine, I was like, could it have done something easier for me? But I said, I did a little. I've never followed the combine before, but I did look it up, and I honestly, one of you guys said that the combine's a joke, and I kind of have to agree with that. But you guys were talking about somebody not getting invited. Like, in this day and age, don't you think that it's sometimes an advantage to not be at the combine, where that they can take your stats right off their field and the performance that they're performing the day of at the football, on the actual football field? I mean, I think that in today's day and age with technology and everything like that, the scouts could get his stats at a better rate and better reliability by him being on the football field than at the actual combine, where he has to run a 40 dash with people that are offensive line and defensive linemen that aren't even in the same league.
Well, so you're thinking logically on this, and here's the problem: is the NFL GMs and the scouts put so much emphasis on the combine, on your 40, on your broad jump, on your interview, because they have interviews during it too, they have psychological testing, and to not even get invited. Like, if you get invited, you're pretty much looking to get drafted. They're probably going to draft you. If you don't get invited, now you're talking about possibly going undrafted, losing a lot of money. But I agree with you. That's how it should be done. They should be looking at your tape, and they should be following that more than the combine. Unfortunately, the NFL is true to its old ways.
The one thing the combine does have is, I think it definitely has. It's definitely good for players that kind of run under the radar and go out there like a Keith Marshall. I think he's a third string running back for Georgia. Come out and run a 4.3. So teams are going to look at that like, oh, well, he's fast. You can't teach speed. Maybe we should draft him in, the third, fourth, fifth round and try and develop him. So those types of players that go under the radar, it kind of is an advantage to. There was I believe it was a running back or wide receiver out of Auburn, I believe, who declared for the draft and got invited to the combine. The only reason why he decided to declare for the draft is his mom is homeless. So he's out there, he's giving up, all he has, and hoping to get drafted, even if it's a late round, to get some sort of contract. So for those types of players, I can see it working for the guys that fly under the radar. But the top guys, like a Wentz and like a Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry, those types of players, these coaches and GMs, they already know what they're getting. just don't want some game film and watch them play. But the combine is mostly useful for the guys that fly under the radar.
How does a third-string running back get invited, but Keenan Reynolds doesn't, though?
I have no answer for that.
Is the NCAA and NFL hating on that guy?
Navy. I mean, how does he not get an invite to the Heisman? I don't know how many Heisman votes that he got, but I do believe he did get some Heisman votes, and he wasn't even there.
No, he wasn't invited. I think he finished 6th, maybe. Here are some other names that got snubbed out of going to the combine. You have Jake Rudock, the quarterback from Michigan, who was a 3-year starter, 2 at Iowa, 1 at Michigan. Jacob Coker from Alabama, who just won a national title. Marquise Williams is one of those really surprising to me, too. This guy was in the Heisman running for most of the year. Back out of UNC, he didn't get invited. And Kevin Beard from Middle Tennessee State, he ended with 19 interceptions in his career. It's pretty big.
His career?
His career, he had 19 picks as a safety.
That's rather impressive.
Yeah. How do you not get invited to the combine? The showcase. And here's a couple names that got invited that you probably shouldn't have. You have Sherdick Thornton. He's an ex-NC State running back who was kicked off the team before the season started. He got arrested 3 times. Once in 2013, he was charged with assaulting a female. This guy gets invited to the combine with a whole image of the NFL right now. Duke Williams, the ex-Auburn player, was thrown off for being drunk and punching out 5 people at a bar. What kind of image is the NFL trying to set right now?
What about the character questions coming into play then more at this point?
Maybe that's why they brought him up there. But if they're doing stuff like that, their character is pretty well defined.
Then the scouts need to put more emphasis on the character questions that they're asking and not ask, do you wear boxers or briefs? I mean, that's not helping out in getting the best men for their team. Maybe remember Draft Day? Did you guys watch that movie?
Yes.
You know how it sticks out in my mind how they were talking about with the $100 in the back of the playbook. Maybe if we all do that and see who tells the truth that they had $100 in the back of the playbook, maybe we'll get better NFL players.
We need something, because if you're bringing in guys who are already punching out women, you're not going to clear up your image at all.
We'll just be Peyton Manning all over again.
Oh, whoa.
Oh.
Allegedly.
Whoa.
Sorry.
That was 20 years ago. Come on now.
Allegedly.
So when
A
these
little
guys
teabag.
in 20 years, right?
A little teabag ain't assault.
And here's one for you, Morgan Garber, who's there who shouldn't be. 12 gauge. Cardell Jones. How does a backup quarterback get invited?
Okay, first off, he led a team to the national championship.
2 years
it was
ago.
It was that run that he had. Now he probably should have came out after that season.
How much money did he lose?
And he lost a shit ton of money. But I think NFL scouts and GMs are going off that 3-4 game run when he dismantled the Badgers, beat Bama, and then Oregon in the championship. So that's what they're going off of. But I don't know if you've seen his 40 time. It was like a 4.8, and he pulled a hamstring. So you're not getting much out of him in this combine.
He's probably not going to throw it. He probably didn't throw it all yesterday either. After that.
I was trying to keep up with it. I had other things to do. But I just seen him pull a hammy in his 40, which I'm not surprised. And then that was that for him. But I'm sure he'll have a pro day and go out there and throw.
We don't play school.
No, we don't. we don't play.
It's the pride of the Buckeyes.
Move on. We got a national championship. That's all I care about.
That's all you care about. He didn't go to class, but you got yourself a national title with him in 3 games.
Whatever he does in the classroom is him.
Congratulations. but we shouldn't pay them, though, right? Because it's all about education.
Hey, I was on board with paying him. You guys didn't give me a chance to talk about it, so I just let you guys argue that one. But I'm on board with paying
Doug
him.
didn't let anybody get to talk.
Doug isn't even listening right now.
He's not even listening right now. I don't even know where he's at.
I
He's
can
really
tell you
not. He's really not. Doug.
I guess Doug just got demoted.
All right, we're doing a listener segment now. We'll move on from the draft. I think the draft is a waste of time. I agree with Lana. They need to put more emphasis on on-field production.
Instead of draft or the combine?
Or combine, excuse me, not the draft. My bad. The combine is a waste of time. I think they put too much emphasis on that and not enough on film. Film tells you everything you need to know about a player.
Yeah, I do agree. Just that's what you want to see. You don't want to see how many bench presses that they can do, or a 40 time that they can run, and some tight spandex with their balls flying out. I don't know if you've seen that video or not.
No, thanks for posting that. Appreciate that.
Well, I shared it for the ladies in case they wanted to watch, but
Nobody wanted to watch that.
you did though. But
I did.
Put on some shoulder pads and a helmet. See how they do. Not in spandex and a cut-off shirt.
All right, we'll move on to our listener segment. We asked a question on our Facebook page for you to give us your most inspirational or best sports moments, and we got some good responses. My mother responded, so I'm gonna give her a shout out first. Desmond Howard's catch, September 14th, 1991, against Notre Dame. The leaping catch. I was 3 years old, so I didn't really get to watch it, but it's one that she remembers. I think they were at that game actually. Diving into the back of the end zone, beating Notre Dame. My stepfather's was Keith Smart's last-second shot, Indiana against Syracuse in the 1978 national title game, I believe. We have the U.S. hockey's team win over the Soviet Union in the 1980 Olympics. It's my Uncle Dave. He also said MSU won a national championship, a remarkable comeback, but no one cares. MSU sucks. John Wrangler's to Anthony Carter, 45 yards, last play against Indiana. It's Michigan, 1979. Here's one we might remember. Ian Christopher Thomas Craig, Mike Tyson biting Holyfield's ear. Then he said the decline of boxing. I would have to agree with him. I can remember where I was for that one. I was living in Portage, Michigan. My parents had a boxing party for all their friends, and the kids had to stay down because it was too violent. And all we hear is, "Oh my God, he bit him!" And we all run up the stairs to look.
Hey, can I interrupt?
No.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
We know. We already know. When I said Doug, and you didn't answer, we knew what you were doing.
And I get $50.
Oh,
He was playing a sport.
He was playing a sport. Christopher Baker, Junior Rose Green laying out Reggie Brown in 2004. I thought he was dead. That was the hit, the Auburn safety, when he knocked out the Georgia player, and he lay face down on the ground forever. Do you remember that, Morgan?
Vividly.
I'm gonna post to our Facebook page because that was a really good one. That hit would be considered illegal. He could be thrown out of the game, and if he was in the NFL, he'd be fined a lot of money. William Steckman, Rogers to Rogers, Hail Mary, 2015, Packers regular season against my Lions. Yeah, I know. That's your greatest sports moment. One that happened 6 months ago against my Lions. You had to post it on our page. You asshole. Mike Daly, Brett Favre's dad dies. He gets a standing ovation from the Raider faithful and shreds them for 339 and 4 touchdowns, beating them 41-7. I remember that one too. And he also said the miracle in Motown, the Hail Mary nonsense, bullshit. Morgan, you had a couple?
Yeah, I had a couple. Chris Rack posted on our Facebook page. Landon Donovan's goal against Algeria in the 2010 World Cup is hands down my favorite sports moment. I'll remember where I was in that moment for the rest of my life. I remember I was sitting in front of a TV, of course, watching it. I was glued to the TV. I lost my mind. Granted, it was Algeria, and we shouldn't have got to that point. But that was kind of the rise of USA soccer in my eyes from that run they had for that year and then the 2014 World Cup. I felt like that kind of put USA soccer on the map. So in my eyes, that's a great one. A couple of ones that I had, Kyle Mullins said Cal Ripken passing Lou Gehrig's record. He had a couple other ones, Mark McGuire breaking Roger Mara in a single-season home run record. Red Wings 2008 Stanley Cup championship. And the 2002 Buckeyes championship, which is also one of mine, that I remember I was for that 2002 championship. I was in Florida in a hotel room, and I lost my mind. I was running up and down the hallway of the hotel, and I could not contain myself. That was
when the refs gave you that win. Yeah, we remember. We know.
We won't talk about that. My buddy Ramon Quinones said watching the Celtics win the championship for the first time in his life. That was a big one for him. Yankees leading the series against Boston 3-0, and the Red Sox coming back to win the World Series and reaching a curse. Kind of, reverse the curse. We all remember that one.
Yeah.
My buddy Adam Bolden said Michael Jordan's flu game sticks out to me. He said it was ultimate perseverance, gamemanship, and determination to win from the best to ever play the game. Then Nicole Gunder said in 2003, the ALCS said it was a season in which I learned about baseball. I guess she didn't know a whole lot about baseball, but her Red Sox-loving boyfriend and his brother were huge Red Sox fans. So when the Red Sox were close to beating the Yankees, she was pretty pumped. I guess during that series, the police were called by her neighbors because they thought someone was attacking her boyfriend, because that's when the Yankees came back in 7-1. So she also put hashtag Yankees suck, hashtag I miss Pedro, and hashtag Trot Nixon fan forever. My dad, shout out to my dad, gave me some today, some pretty good ones. He had the Reds winning the 75 and 76 World Series was a big one for him. When he was younger, played high school baseball, he hit a home run against his old school. And his third one, watching my kids win the sports. So shout out to my dad, love you. I'm glad I made your list.
I didn't make my own mom's list, so your dad loves you more. Doug, what moments of sports stick out to you, Doug? What can you remember and look back on?
It's weird because the only thing that sticks out is bad moments in sports with me.
That explains a lot.
I remember the infamous timeout by Chris Webber.
Oh.
In the NCAA championship game. It's just heartbreaking. I mean, watching it, I was in Myrtle Beach at the time, watching it with family and friends, and it was just one of those things like, we got this. What are you doing? And so that kind of sticks out. But I also remember the Desmond Howard diving end zone catch against Notre Dame, and how amazing that day just kind of felt with being a Michigan fan and hating Notre Dame for everything they are and stand for. So, I mean, those are two from my childhood that stick out the most. And you can take any Red Wings title or the amount of times that they've been in the playoffs straight now. What is it, 24? Yeah, those are my moments that I kind of cling to as a fan.
Sweet. Lana, how about you?
Well, Doug brought up the Red Wings. It's kind of fresh in my mind. The alumni game between the Colorado Avalanche and the Red Wings was just the other night. And so my most memorable sports moment that I have recently been reminded about, I guess you could say, is the epic fight between Chris Osgood and Patrick Waugh. And I just think that two goalies go at it on the ice is just crazy. That happens every day. So any fight between the Avalanche and the Wings would be an epic sports moment in my mind.
That was one of my favorites, for sure. Morgan?
I remember when it was my first year on varsity soccer. I was a junior, and we were playing against our rival Carroll, which used to kick our ass like 11-0, 12-0 every year. And we lost that game 1-0, but you'd have thought that we won that game because we celebrated like we won because we didn't get our ass whooped. But there was one play in that game because I was a keeper, and the striker was coming down, and it was 1-on-1, and I made this amazing diving save, just 1v1, and the crowd went wild. Everyone lost their minds. So that's my own personal one. Another one was when I was just a little wee guy playing some baseball. I don't know how old I was, maybe about 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. And I hit a inside the park grand slam to win the game. It was a game-winning inside the park grand slam. I would never forget that moment. I was so happy. So that's my two personal ones that stick out to me. And my professional one, since my Ohio sports teams suck, I'm going to go with my Buckeyes winning the 0-2 championship and then their recent championship in 2014.
Both that shouldn't have happened. You're right. I would feel good about that too if I didn't deserve them. But
Do you want to talk about your 1997 championship?
the one that we earned as the best defense in college football. You're right. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Champion?
No idea.
Were you the sole champion for that year?
Everybody knows we were better than Nebraska that year.
Were you the sole champion?
Luke.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes. We were the AP national title. AP.
Did you share the
national-
championship? If you looked it up,
I did not.
is it shared?
I hate you. We won that national title. All right.
Shared.
Champs. Charles Woodson, Brian Greasy. Anyways, my two.
Good job, you shared it.
I have two as well. The first one was when I was 7 years old. It was 1995, and it's the first football game I can remember being at. It was Michigan versus Ohio State when Tim Biakabatuka ran for 313 yards. I can remember everything vividly. I can remember the stadium, the band playing "Hail to the Victors," the concession stands outside. As a kid, I think it solidified my love for not only football but Michigan football. I'll always remember that day forever. And then my second one was when I played high school football. It was my junior year. We were playing a school, Patuxent High School, and we were up 35-28. They had a nonsense roughing the passer call, and the ref looks at us and says, if they make this Hail Mary, we're going to have to run out of here because I feel so bad. And sure enough, the kid, he's up in the air. Our cornerback falls under it, flat palmed it. It bounced off his hand into the receiver's hand for a touchdown. We're thinking we're about to tie. And then our All-American, A.J. Wallace, comes off the end on an extra point, blocks it. There's no time on the clock left. We all throw our helmets up in the air. He's sprinting to the 50. We're sprinting after him. We tackle him on the 50. It's one of those epic movie moments that I'll always cherish as well. So those are mine, and we appreciate all of you who gave your inputs as well. They were all great ones, except for the Michigan State one and any Ohio State one. Those all sucked.
So Doug's favorite sports moment was a Michigan blunder.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. You asshole.
I didn't say favorite. It's just one of those ones that, you know, you never stop thinking about. Like, if I saw Chris Webber on the street right now, I'd probably be like, bring it up. I wouldn't do anything else because he'd probably kill me, but I'd bring it up.
You wouldn't bring it up.
Like, hey, remember that one time you called timeout in the national championship game? Oh, yeah.
It was the Final Four game. You don't even know what you're talking about.
The Final Four game, sorry.
If you say that, I hope you can run an 8-minute mile.
Owned. We'll move on. We're gonna pick our 5 games for this week, and Lana is gonna be our first guest picker.
Seriously?
Yeah. You are starting off all the guests from here on out. Their record is now a result of what you picked this week.
Surprise.
What are the current standings right now, Zach?
Oh, the current. Thank you, Doug, for bringing that up. So we picked 5 games last week. Doug, you and I believe went 4-1. Morgan.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is pretty good. We didn't go 5-0 like we wanted. We went 4-1. Morgan, what did you do? Oh, you went 2-3. Okay. So the Buckeye is in last place. Shocker.
Yeah, I mean, I'll balance either way. Could have made it, but you're right. I am 2-3. I was really banking on OKC last night.
Oh, that was
Steph Curry decided to. I don't even know. Well, first off, it all started with Durant. I don't know what he's thinking, throwing the ball in the middle of the court when he's trapped in the corner. Just call a timeout. And then he fouls Iguodala with like 0.7 seconds left, and he, of course, makes the free throws, goes in overtime, and Steph Curry just makes his unbelievable 2 steps inside, just 2 steps across the half court. I don't know, it was like 35,
it was a
40 feet out.
It was a 35.
And just nails it. Just pure confidence, nails it. And I started screaming.
You lost. That's all that matters. You lost, and you sucked. Ohio State sucks.
I did. Okay, yeah. But it wasn't like the games were blowouts. I mean, every game was close.
It doesn't matter.
You're right, it doesn't. But I mean, you act like I didn't know what I was talking about. When a bounce or two the other way, I'm 4-1, and you guys are 2-3.
We got 5 more coming your way. We're gonna start off on Wednesday. We got the Red Wings versus the Blackhawks in another rivalry game with the Red Wings. So Lana, you at me. I wonder who you're picking. Who you got?
How do you go against your home team? I mean, I would have to, like, my heart chooses Red Wings, but I kind of have to go with the Hawks.
You're going with the Blackhawks. Wow, I had to change
Wow.
it. Wow. Doug.
That's the difference between the heart and the mind, right?
Doug, who are you picking, man?
I'm going with the heart, sir, and I'm going with the Red Wings.
Nice. Morgan?
First off, I want to make my announcement that I will go back to my Detroit Red Wing fan days. I decided I'm going to follow hockey. I'm going to join you guys and join the.
You enjoyed the
Red
game
Wings.
last night, didn't you?
I did. Well,
You did.
Well, I was flipping back and forth, which, by the way, do you know how hard it was to go from a Red Wings game to the OKC game, going back and forth? Luckily, my wife was nose deep in her phone doing rescue dog stuff, so shout out to my wife for letting me control the TV and watch sports. But I'm going to go with the Red Wings on this one, even though Chicago is 8th in goals per game and 8th in goals against, and actually they're second in power play, so they're pretty good. But they're not that good on the road. They're actually better at home. They're 16, 12, and 3 on the road. The Red Wings are actually pretty even on the road and at home. They're 16, 10, and 6 at home, and they're 15, 10, and 5 away. So they're pretty even. I'm going to go with the Red Wings in this one.
Nice. My wife, I was not so lucky last night. I couldn't watch any sports. I get football season, so I'll take that and I'll run with it. I get soccer in the mornings. So I was not watching the game last night. But I'm going to go with the Blackhawks as well. I'm going against our Wings, I know. I'm picking with the mind too, man. I have to. I want to beat you guys. But yeah, the Blackhawks, they're too good right now. They had the best player on the ice that night. So I'm going to go with the Hawks, unfortunately. Our next game will be on Thursday. It's a rematch. OKC, Golden State. Morgan, are you going to change your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't pick against Steph Curry and Golden State again, though I'm not the biggest Draymond Green fan. He might be up there with Joakim Noah as one of the most hated players in my book. But I can't go against him. He's the only player that I've ever watched that when he shoots a ball, you just expect it to go in every time he shoots. So when he misses, it's a surprise when he misses. So I'm going to go with Golden State. There's no way I can go against them. Now watch OKC pull it out. But I'm going to go with Golden State.
I'm going to go with Golden State as well. Again, we did a segment on this team and this guy. They're on an amazing run. How do you pick against them? You can't. Lana, who you got?
I don't follow this at all, so I'll go with all y'all.
He's going to go with Golden State as well.
Golden
Paul,
State.
proud. All right. Doug, our other basketball expert.
Well, since everyone's picking Golden State, I should probably be different. But I'm going to go with Golden State.
Of
because
course.
It would be stupid to bet against them right now.
Thank you. A guy who doesn't even follow the NBA knows that it's dumb to pick against Golden State, and Garber did it last week.
Yeah, but
No.
if it wasn't for Kevin Durant throwing a ball in the middle of the court and fouling Andre Iguodala, they would have won that game. So
If Curry didn't go out with an injury early in the game, it wouldn't have been as far away as it was. Anyways,
no.
Saturday we got our 3 college basketball games. We'll start off
have
with
like 50 points. What are you talking about?
I'm talking right now. Why do you always interrupt me? You guys always interrupt me. I'm so polite. How am I the tool when I'm so polite and you guys always interrupt me? This is
You're the
bullshit.
tool.
We got Michigan at Iowa. Doug, I'm going to start off with you.
You're going to start off with me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping that somebody else would go first.
No, I want to hear your expert analysis.
I'm going to pick Iowa.
Wait, you say you're going to pick with your heart. You pick the Wings, and now Michigan, Iowa, and you pick Iowa?
No, I don't have to pick with my heart all the time.
So whenever it's convenient for you.
Morgan?
There's no way I can pick Michigan. I can't do it. I'm gonna go with Iowa. Iowa smoked them by 11 the first game. They have Jared Uthoff, because that's his last name. He's at 18.6 points per game, second in the Big Ten. 2.8 blocks per game, which is first in the Big Ten. So they have probably the Big Ten Player of the Year on their team. I'm gonna go with Iowa. I can't pick Michigan. It's not my blood.
Lana, who you got?
This is a tough one for me. But I'm gonna go Iowa too.
Iowa as well. Well, you guys can see Morgan and Lonigan, my background, everything behind me, everything that is maize and blue in Michigan, and I am going to pick Iowa.
Ah!
I've watched too many Michigan games this year to know that we are just an average run-of-the-mill team, and we have no big men. Iowa has big men, and they're gonna
Farm boys.
rebound the crap out of it, and we're not. Yeah. Then we have Michigan State versus Ohio State. Morgan, heart or brain?
Michigan destroyed us at home the first time around, 81-62. Before the season started,
Don't call them Michigan.
a lot of the insiders for Ohio State basketball came on a local radio show with Mark Neal here, and they said this Ohio State team will be a team that loses games they should win and win games that they should lose. So I'm going to pick with my heart and pick Ohio State to pull the upset.
He found some obscure passage from before the season to make his pick sound intelligent.
but go and look at who they played. I mean, they've won games they should have lost and lost games that they should have won. So I'm going to stick with that, and they want to upset Michigan State.
I'm going to do something gross here. I'm picking against Michigan and picking Michigan State in the same pick'em, and I hate my life right now. I kind of want to jump off a bridge. But I'm picking Michigan State over Ohio
You're the one who picked this game, though, weren't you?
I think Doug and I both agreed we wanted both Big Ten games this time. So Doug wanted it too. We wanted both Big Ten games. So we got them. Lana, who you got?
Michigan State.
Michigan State. Are you a State fan?
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right, good. I was about to hang up on you right now. We lasted this long. Doug, who are you picking, man?
I'm going to opt out of this one because I hate both teams equally, and I hope that God smites them, the court opens up and swallows the entire freaking
If you opt out, you get an automatic L.
I know. I'm going to go with Michigan State.
How terrible is that? We both picked. Oh, in our last game.
I might cut myself tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough night.
Let's not do that, Doug.
Our last game we're picking is going to be North Carolina versus Duke. Morgan, we were talking during the last game, so I want to hear your pick.
I'm going to go with UNC on this one. UNC should have won that game. They had a chance at the end. They had 3 timeouts left. Warren Williams decided not to call a timeout. He kind of told his team to hurry up, and there was about 8, 9, 10 seconds left. Should have called a timeout. He had plenty of time to pick up something, or to, pick up a result. And Bryce Johnson had 29 points and 19 rebounds. I think he's going to come out there and have another great game for UNC at the Dukies. So I'm going to go with UNC, plus the Duke just got upset today by Pitt. So I'm going to go with UNC.
UNC it is. Lana.
I'm going to call Duke.
Duke. She's picking the Dukies. I'm sorry to all the guests out there for that L coming up. I'm picking North Carolina. Morgan and I were watching that game, and they should have won. Duke just got blown out today. I can't pick Duke after today. No. North Carolina. Doug?
I am going to go with North Carolina. I actually watched the last game, and UNC should have won. I hate Duke anyway. So I'm going to go with North Carolina this week, especially since Duke just came off that loss. So
We have too many even games this week. This wasn't a very good week of pick'em.
For the record, Ohio State's beating Iowa right now, 64-62.
For the record, they're still going to lose, and they still suck.
Are we talking basketball or football?
Overall. At life.
Overall.
We're better at life than you.
When was the last time Michigan beat Ohio State?
In what? Hockey? It was a couple weeks ago.
Hockey, yeah. Do you want to talk about competitive cheerleading, too? Do you want to bring that up?
They probably win at that, too.
Do you want to talk about volleyball?
They probably win at that, too. Number 2 ranked softball team in the nation. Boom. Michigan.
You are not watching Michigan competitive cheering. Come on now.
I am watching Michigan hockey, though, and you know that.
Yeah, I do.
I'll watch Michigan softball when it comes back on.
Number 2 in the nation. Go Blue. As always, we'll finish up with our Why We Love Sports segment. I'll go ahead and start us off. So
Was that 5?
Yeah.
Oh.
Black Red Wings, Dukies, Buckeyes, Wolverines, Golden State. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to finish with our Why We Love Sports segment. I'll go ahead and start us off so somebody else can close it out for us. I went a little bit different this week, guys. I didn't do our usual story from around the country. Mine is a little bit more personal. As Morgan and Doug know, I've been on the coaching clinic circuit the last few weeks. And one thing I noticed is there's a lot of the same guys we compete against who are there teaching us and helping us, especially as younger coaches. One thing I love is that when the games are done, older coaches and coaches with more experience will do what they can to help out those who are trying to get their name out there. And I thought that's a great example of sportsmanship. That during these clinics, there's no competitiveness, there's no trash talking. It's all about learning the game of football and helping each other get better, and helping programs get better. And that's one reason why I not only love sports, but I love coaching sports as well. That's mine for this week. Doug, we'll let you go next, man.
Oh, I kind of wanted to go last, but okay.
You want to go last?
Yeah, I'd like to go last if I could.
Okay, Lana, we'll let you go.
All right. Of course, mine is going to be cheerleading related, right? I am going to say Patience Beard is her name.
Why I love sports, not why I love activities.
Oh my gosh, shut your trap. Seriously. When
You conceded victory.
When you find out about this girl, you're going to have so much more to say, and you're going to want to eat your words here in a second. So shut it.
Okay.
Okay, so she is a Division I scholarship cheerleader at the University of Arkansas. And what makes her just special is that she does everything on a prosthetic leg. She has been without a leg since she was born. And she said that her normal is just believing in herself and believing that she's beautiful and believing that she can do whatever she wants to, regardless of what condition she has. And she's a role model for little girls as far as girls that she sees at the games and stuff like that. But more importantly, she said she's a role model for her teammates. Any girl growing up knows how hard it is to be self-worth and all that kind of stuff. And it's very easy to be down on yourself when you have a disability. But she goes out there with grace and beauty and does it every single day in front of millions of kids and people on a prosthetic leg. I can't imagine anything more than bravery than that.
That's a good one. From a sport. You conceded defeat, dude. I can't even... Why would you even say that now? Morgan, you go ahead, man.
Mine's coming from a hometown. There was a guy named Terry Holcomb who was killed in a car crash. It was on February 23rd. And he had a little boy named Marcus, who's 7, who competes for wrestling. And after his father passed away, he got in a car wreck in Indiana. And after his father passed away, Marcus still wanted to go out and wrestle in his wrestling meet. And he actually went out there and won his bracket, won the regional wrestling tournament. So for a little boy who's 7 years old to go out there and put all that aside, take what his father has taught him, the techniques that his father has taught him in wrestling, and go out there and put them to use and actually win the state wrestling regional was pretty remarkable. I know it's a big thing here in the community. So just for a 7-year-old boy to go out there and be able to do that is rather impressive to me. It'd be very easy to, not want to go out there and wrestle, not want to go out there and compete, especially being 7 years old. My daughter is right now 7, so I can't imagine what she'd be going through if something happened to me. So that's just remarkable that Marcus was able to go out there and not only compete but to win his bracket. So that's my Why I Love Sports Stays Hometown with Marcus Holcomb.
Nice job, Morgan. That's a good one. Doug, finish up for us, man.
All right, well, the reason I love sports is because of this right here, what we're doing. 3 people, 4 this week, with different opinions, and getting together and discussing and debating and just sharing experiences, and sharing whatever activities, whatever you might want to call them. But it's just the fact that people can get together and talk and discuss, and at the end of the day, you know, even if Lana was wrong, she's still my friend, so we're gonna, you know, get along, and, you know, even when the losing goes 2-3, we'll give them a little ribbing, but, you know, it's all in fun, and we're all friends once recording stops, and, you know, it just brings everyone together, and that's how, you know, that's how Zach and I met. I mean, we had a mutual love for Michigan, and it just went from there, and that's how Morgan and I went, because I found out he was an Ohio State fan, and I was like, fuck this guy. Sorry. You know, it's just, sports brings everyone together, and this podcast, we talked about it every, you know, so often while we were all still, you know, on the ship, and then it came together finally 4 years after I got out, and, you know, it's just, that's honestly probably my favorite moment in sports is the ones that we can sit here and talk about and, you know, disagree, agree, whatever, but we all end up sitting and talking and enjoying what time we do have together, so.
That's a sweet sentiment, Doug. I appreciate it.
That was Doug's soft side.
Doug has a soft side.
Who knew?
There it is. There it is.
The sensitive being. That was good, though.
It was good. Just so you know, Ohio State's 66, Iowa is 64 with 30 seconds left. So
who cares? No one cares. No one cares.
I do, and my Ohio State fans, my Ohio State friends care about it, and I just want to put that out there.
There's no such thing as an Ohio State fan. They're all closet Wolverines.
Yeah, okay. That earlier when I said Ohio State is a team that will win games they're supposed to lose and lose games they're supposed to win.
Well, you're going to lose the one that counts, the one that we're actually... We'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. We had
I love you guys.
Lana, thank you for joining us today and putting Doug in his place.
Yay, my pleasure.
We appreciated that. Next week, we're going to have a bunch of topics. We're going to hit up Kobe Bryant, I think is what we talked about. And Morgan made a comment that we're definitely going to talk about, and that's that the MLB should allow PED.
Should be a good one. I'm bracing for the worst. I know you guys are going to come after me on that one.
It's going to be bad. So we'll get that next week. Lana, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for listening. We'll get you next Monday.